Hey everyone, Mark Ford here, and in this video we're going to be covering discovering the truth in the market. So what this is really about is about taking a view on the market. And a lot of people will just kind of follow the herd and follow the group and think that that's going to help them to grow their business, right? But what we want to do here is really give you the tools and equip you so that you don't need to follow the herd, so that you can understand your market and niche better than anyone else in the world, or at least in your market. And that involves taking a view on the market that is yours alone. And this will do quite a number of things for you. And this is really about winning in business, right? And winning in business is really not obvious to most because they follow and they don't lead. They don't innovate. They just say, oh, well, so-and-so is doing that, so I'm going to do that too. It seems to be working for them without really understanding what they're actually doing, and even if it's actually working. And so what we're going to cover here is really about seeing the gaps in the market that no one else is seeing, and seeing yourself as the protagonist, as the change agent that is really there to bring your niche and market back into alignment with the objective truth that exists that most professionals, they don't talk about. And a lot of people don't talk about because their fear of being polarizing. And so, all right, how do you take a view on the market? And there's two parties, right? There's the observer and the participant. And the observer takes an unemotional, objective view on what is happening in their market and asks, why is this happening? What is causing this? They ask the question, is everyone in this market believing or being told a lie? And the participant takes an emotional and subjective view on the events around them, which is really based on their self-image, their peer connections, their worldview, et cetera, et cetera. And they have an affinity to believe the lies that support their beliefs. And you see this happening all the time. And I read Proverbs a lot, and this is a great one. And there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death, right? And we see this happening over and over and over again, where the herd or the group thinking leads people down very bad paths. So this is really about stepping outside of yourself and the crowd and really the craziness of the group thinking, and being willing to see what is actually happening and seeing the prevailing trends. Right? So taking a view on the market, right? So what does this have to do with getting more clients? And I put this image here of Donald Trump, and whether you agree with him or disagree with him, it doesn't really matter. What Donald Trump did in the last election was he took a view on the market, and he believed that there was a portion of the market that would align with the way he viewed the world and the direction the country needed to go into. And he didn't need to convince the masses. He only needed to have some affinity to a very small group of people, and then allow that small group to push the rest of the market, if you will, closer towards his truth or a truth. It's not, see, the other understanding is that it's not the only truth. So really, what does this have to do with getting more clients is what's really interesting here is when we were going through the election cycle, like most people were saying that there is no chance ever that Donald Trump could be president. And it was tweeted about, it was written about, conservatives, like it didn't matter what party lines. Everyone was like, there's no chance that he can ever become president. And that's what most people were saying. Right? But what actually happened was, right, quite different, as we can view from the rear view mirror now. Right? And so taking a view on the market, right, the participant is really only viewing things from their biased subjective perspective. And they tend to make wrong factual statements even when they're wrong, right? They'll make a statement and make it sound like it's fact, but the reality is it can be absolutely 100% not true. The observer looks at the prevailing trends, data, market feedback, and then generates an objective hypothesis that they will test. They're not emotionally attached to the hypothesis because they're only after the objective truth in the market and figuring out what that is. Right? And this is how most people go through life and their business. Right, is they go up and down, up and down, up and down, and they're like, this is a crazy ride, right? And the observer looks at and asks, what is the truth? What is going on in the market right now? And so rather than being subjected to group thinking and the ups and downs in the market, they're looking for the underlying truth that is in the market and looking and generating hypothesis and testing those. Right? The observer knows that the greatest opportunities exist where markets and niches are distorted from the truth.
If you would like to learn more about Castor Abbott or watch a free training video that explains how we've helped over 300 financial advisors and counting, click the first link in the description.